Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Good morning, everyone. I am a tad bit behind this morning, but it's all good. Can I just say I am a Kiddada Asmara Grey, your conflict coach on Life Coaching Today Presents. So welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. Since we have so many listeners all over, can I just say happy October 17th. And y'all, I'm cold. Let's get right into it. I'm cold. It's cold in Atlanta, Georgia. And I have got the heat turned on. No, let me correct myself. I plugged in my heater. I don't have my heat turned on because if I could, I would have it up front for you all to show you all what that looks like, what my heater looks like. So I'm going to do a little, this is a must have. Usually I do what's on the desk of Kiddada, but let's say what's on the floor of Kiddada today. Listen, if you all have a Costco membership or Home Depot, you don't need a Home Depot membership, but run, y'all. If y'all are cold and you're like, okay, I'm not ready to turn my heat on because that heating bill is going to be like $1,000 a month or $500 a month or whatever it is that you're not ready to pay yet, go get the Vortex. That fan that blows so hard can heat my entire apartment. And what I love the best about it is that I can set the temperature, and my little tiny self over here, who's always super cold, I can turn that bad boy all the way up to 90. No one talk about me. But just to stay warm and to heat up my entire, I think my apartment is like 1,400, 1,200 square feet. So from top to bottom, east to west, one end to the other, we are on it over here. But it's cold. It's like in the 50s in certain places around the country. It has already started to snow, which I think is a crime. But it is what it is, right? And so 'tis the season for all of you all who love the fall weather and want to see the trees and cool weather and snow and four seasons. To all of y'all. That's what I got to say this morning. Because we're cold over here. And the only person that's warm is Zora. So I don't have the fur coat that she has, but if anybody would like to send me a fur coat, I wear a small, y'all. I wear a small. So this morning, I am doing something different on the show because it's heavy, right? Right now, the season that we're in, it's heavy. We have hurricane season, which we have 6 more weeks of hurricane season. We are in political season, and y'all know I'm a political consultant. Is my side gig, one of those. And y'all, even I'm tired of all of the ads, and I'm tired of certain voices in my ear. And no lie, you all, I definitely, wholeheartedly, if you were ever to pop in at my house during the day, I do not listen to the news. I rarely listen to the news anymore. I literally have on a show called The Pet Collective. So I can watch the doggies and the turtles and the hamsters and the gerbils, like just fluttering around and having joy, because it's so heavy. And then we can't even get to all the turmoil that's occurring in the news. So I thought, you know what? Let's have a hot topic show. And let me invite one of my dearest, closest sister girlfriends, Jennifer Simmons. You all have seen her on the show. She is a follower of Life Coaching Today podcast, because her and I are a hoot together, and we have joy together and fun together, and we laugh a lot. But I wanted to bring her on to give you all perspective, and honestly, her reaction, because I know she hasn't seen some of the news that I read. I would rather read the news than hear the news at this point in time. And so I just wait. In a few minutes, I'm going to bring her on, because here's the thing, y'all. I haven't shared with her what news stories I'm going to discuss, because I know it hasn't made it to mainstream news. Some of the shenanigans that I came across, and I was like, this can't be possible. And so let me take off the glasses, because I can't see y'all no ways. But I do want to say this, though. It is imperative to understand that the impact of what is happening in society, it impacts us in ways that we may not even understand. So, one, let me just say this first and foremost, that a lot of us are totally enamored by some of the news. And so, like, we will discuss like P. Diddy Combs. And for some of us, we are so caught up, as they say. And so, not that's good or bad, but don't let it swing all the way to the point where it's escapism, and then you can't deal with your own life because you're dealing with Diddy stuff, right? Because his conflicts are no different than our conflicts, right? Um, it's just that his is on a larger scale. And I'm not going to lie, the New York girl in me is shocked. I'm in my feelings, because I feel like I need to give up my entire high school and college party scene and love of his music, because it is so scandalous. Okay. So we have the level of escapism. The second one is that if it's political, it is literally making people physically ill. Okay. If you're getting ill because you are so stressed out about what is happening and what is occurring in the political scene in the United States, and not only in the United States, because it is actually extending all the way into places where we still have war, and genocides. Yes, I said it. Hit me up if you're mad at the word genocide. But let me tell you something. Here's a reminder to everyone. No matter what the political state is, especially in the United States, I'm going to tell you this: we're still standing. Through all of the iterations of different presidencies, we're still standing. We still get to eat. We still get to go shopping. We still get to go travel. We still get to do all the things that we have done under the last presidents, and will continue to do so. Thankfully, we don't live in a society yet in America whereby we're hiding because of our political affiliations. I want you all to think about that, and don't let this world, this political world that we're in, change your body dynamics, your physical body. Like, stress should not be coming from politicians who don't know your name. I'm just going to tell you that. Excuse me for coughing, but I just want to tell you all that, because it's important to note. I know so many people who are so stressed out. I'm not stressed out, and I get paid to do this for a living. Because it is going to be what it is. And I just want to put a little note in here, because I always say it's political math, right? A body of one, they could be messy, they can be loud, but we do have some safeguards, whether it's allowing us to win or lose. We do have to have the number of votes to pass some of these measures that they discuss on TV or in forums. So just be mindful of that. No one person has that level of power unless we're going to dismantle the entire political hierarchy and system in the United States. So I just want to say that, but don't let it just kind of totally consume you to the point of being unhealthy. And then here's a little bit sidebar of politics because it came back. Y'all go get y'all COVID shots. COVID and flu shots, because COVID is real. COVID is still here. COVID is still wrapped up in blankets around us, and some of us are going to catch it. I am still amazed, knock on wood, glass, the floor, the door, whatever, that I've never caught COVID. Thank you, Jesus. But that's also a sign too that I don't go outside. I don't go outside to play with others well, so I stay inside a lot. But just know that I'm sorry, y'all. See, sometimes I see when the guest says some shenanigans herself, I cannot with y'all. I cannot today. It's too early in the morning. But I did wash my face this morning, so that's good. And I put some, y'all, I got my sweater on. Y'all should have seen me this morning going through my closet, damn near fighting with everything to pull down all my sweaters, because like I said, I'm cold, but I got the orange sweater on, which is a color of fall. If you can see, I got some orange lip gloss on. I'm trying to look cute this morning. One time this week, I don't know if we're going to make it to Sunday looking cute, but today we're going to look cute this morning. So with that being said, in about a minute, Yoruba, we can go ahead and take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to bring back Jennifer Simmons, who's also in the political space, but she's also a dear friend of mine. She's also of the renouncer, denouncing, unannounced fame, as we talk about political shenanigans, and she's calling herself a shenanigans expert today. So Yoruba, if we can go to break, and I'm going to take a sip of tea and get my voice right, and see if I can become just a tad bit more professional this morning, just a little bit more professional. Y'all can watch me sip some tea. And good morning, Gary. Good morning, Christian. I see many of you all are on this morning. I hope you guys are staying warm. Whew, don't go outside till 10 o'clock in Georgia. Don't do it in the metro area, because they said we are in a cold streak. Yeah, I'm not ready. My poor plants. Yep, so we're about to go to break, and I'm about to sip all my tea. We'll be back.
One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcasts, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Asmara.
Y'all, my mute does not like me, but it's okay. So I'm going to say it again. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
The shenanigans expert is with us this morning, y'all. And let me just say, here's my one caveat. I tend to not look at my phone doing this podcast, but today I'm going to have to, because I have a list of stories that I just sent myself in my email, right? Because the shenanigans are shenaniganging. That's my word today, shenaniganging. That's the word. And I just need to pull out my phone and just read it, because I was over here trying to figure out like the little Russian roulette of what to start with, because it's just too many shenanigans, y'all. It's really too many shenanigans. So I'm wait. Okay, all right. You know what, Jennifer? I'm sorry. I'm about to roll too fast.
Because you're ready. Listen, you came in hot. You came in
hot. I'm ready to go. But y'all, Jennifer, say hi to the listeners, girl. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me back to the show. Yes, I am a listener, a fan, and contributor. And I tell you what, shenanigans is my favorite sport. I know it wasn't a part of the Olympics this year, but wasn't it? Because I'm not quite sure that the hip hop breakdancing event personally, it's just I'm here in my personal capacity. I personally feel that was the beginning of the shenanigans Olympics.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So we're gonna practice, and so because I'm nosy, what is on your TV in the back? Because I done saw the Wizard of Oz in the back.
I thought it important, based on how I was approached about today's episode, that I keep full shenanigans, full shenaniganery, full shenaniganing behind me, so that it is as appropriate for what I'm anticipating these topics. And as Kiddada has stated to everyone, I have no idea what stream of thought that Kiddada is coming from today. So I'm just as raw as the rest of you in terms of knowing where this may go. So let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna ride, y'all. We're gonna ride. So if you all are joining me right now, 17 minutes, I don't know, it's 28 minutes after.
It is.
Oh, Lord, it's early in this morning, Jesus. All right, anywho, I'm Kiddada Grey, your conflict coach. Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, and we're doing something different. We're going to talk about some hot topics and some shenanigans that are occurring in the world. They're everyday occurrences to a degree, but they're just not making it out into the news. And for all the people that are saying that's fake news, it's not fake. This is not fake. There are literally stories that are so unbelievable that it's probably hard for our mind to digest and accept to be real, but these are real. So I'm gonna come out with one. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that, and we're gonna pray our way through this, because yesterday I was in my feelings. So in Minnesota, are you ready, Jennifer? Are you ready?
God. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm gonna repeat. Jennifer has not heard any of these stories. Well, some of them she may have, but some of them I know she has not. So there in Minnesota, all the way on the other side of the world, there was a substitute teacher that decided, because teachers have to come up with fun activities for children to learn some things, right?
Yes.
And teachable moments, as we say. And so there's a substitute teacher in Minnesota who's been removed from the classroom. Jennifer, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me, why do you think he was removed from the classroom?
Well, as a former teacher, there are a variety of reasons why you could be removed from the classroom. But in today's climate and society, only God knows why he in Minnesota may have been removed from the classroom. I'm curious, what exactly caused his removal?
So y'all bear with me, because in my mind, I'm struggling with if I should call people's names or not. But but let me
it's
just
already
say,
news, isn't it? If it's news, it's already news.
It's news, but you know what?
Hot topics, honey. Hot topics.
Hot
Let's go.
topic, hot topic. So I don't even know if they gave this man's name. Oh no, no, they didn't. They didn't give his name.
Okay.
So because he's a police officer who additionally works as a substitute teacher, that in and of itself, I'm a little.
Those are some
wonderful.
very interesting layers.
Right. So he's
an
police
officer slash substitute teacher.
Substitute teacher
in Minnesota.
In Minnesota. And so he was removed from the classroom, y'all, because, in fact, he wasn't only removed, he was banned from a school in Minnesota after putting a student's head on the hood of a car during an alleged reenactment of the 2020 murder of George Floyd. Let me say that again. He decided that he was going to reenact the murder of brother, may he rest in peace, George Floyd.
Okay. Yes, you did decide to come in hot.
I need to tell y'all because I did not see this on CNN.
And I actually have to respect CNN for not bringing this one to the forefront for mainstream media purposes. First of all, and again, I'm highly opinionated. You have to be in order to be a shenanigans expert. But I will say this. The layers of being an officer of the law and a substitute teacher, I take issue with that a bit because I don't know that that's a conflict of interest, but it's definitely not two fields of work that I think go together.
That's right.
So it's one of those things that I feel like the school system essentially put themselves in that position to allow this to happen. Let's be clear, because substitute teachers can come from any walk of life. If you've ever been in a classroom anywhere in any school system, they can come from any walk of life. Therefore, the circumstances were ripe. They were absolutely ripe, and I'm not the least bit entertained by the fact that you had an officer take a student and reenact anything remotely close to such a horrific, historical, for all the wrong reasons event. Again, whoever did report on that, I'll say this, some of the stories that miss mainstream should. And I would say that this is one, because it doesn't evoke, with what all you mentioned that we've gone through in America. Yes, we do get to shop. We still get to do the things,
right?
But that is even more of a distraction than it would need to be for what we are trying to do in the next 19 days.
19 days. Oh, Lord. Okay, we're going to leave that alone. So I just want to give you a little bit more details because the reason why they didn't name him is because he is a police officer. I don't know if he deserves that level of grace and or protection, but I just want to say, just to give a little bit more context, it says the man was serving as a substitute English teacher. Now, I know when I was in English class, we were reading Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth. Beowulf, girl, that's one of my favorites. Okay, so this was like forthwith, and henceforth, this happened on Monday, so it's only Thursday. So he was removed expeditiously for all of you all, since it wasn't
the beginning of the week. How mad are you on Monday? How angry? Hold on, officer. If you're the substitute, so Sunday the Sunday service didn't take?
No.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But he said he was teaching 10th and 12th grade English classes where he said he felt like they might want to hear about his life. So
he wasn't teaching American history or criminal justice, was he? You said English.
English.
What's the next headline? No, we're not doing that.
I had to come out hot, y'all, because sometimes, because I want to say this though, because we do have a space where there's a certain group of individuals that truly believe that racism and racial harm are things of the past, and yet we have instances that keep popping up. and our children are still being exposed to all of these ideologies and horrible physical health symptoms, because I'm just going to call it that. So I just want to know. So that's the first one. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel about that. And then so I'm gonna take something fun, right? So I need you to put your hand up, Jennifer. This is not a shenanigan, but this is something that I was just like, oh wow, this is interesting. So because I'm a nerd girl, right? And science is, I think if I could, in my next life again, I might become a scientist. But I learned that, hold on, I'm gonna step all the way back just for everyone out there in the world. If you don't know, if you were in school from college to your terminal degrees, PhDs and so forth, right? You get to do a lot of research. Okay. And some of our wonderful psychologists, social scientists, I'm a social scientist by training, we get to come up with all kinds of topics. And sometimes you'll be surprised what gets funded. Okay. Because you get funded to do a lot of research. And so here's one that caught my attention. How do you count on your fingers? So how? So if you think about it, when you start with the number 1, how do you count on your hand with your fingers? And yes, Lord, somebody funded this. So Jennifer, go ahead and start counting. Okay. So if you begin with your thumb,
I thought about it, but I'm a dissident. And so I knew that the thumb was going to be origin, even though I wasn't a part of the study. But I said, no, I'm going to go here just to be difficult.
So I'm not going to call all y'all out that start with y'all thumbs, but that to me is weird. That's weird, but that's me. But the point of the study was to say that depending on where you are located in different parts of the world, you count differently.
That's right.
So some
actually,
does that make sense?
I learned that from my grandmother. My grandmother, she was not a school teacher, but she was head of the PTA for all of her children's schools, as well as once I came into the Atlanta public school system. And she actually shared that with me. This is where homeschooling comes into play.
That's right.
Everybody who still should be teaching your children at the house. I'm just saying, I'm going to take this moment to say, please continue to teach your children. Just because you send them to school, I don't care if it's public or private, please teach your children at school. But that sidebar to say,
the teacher just spanked us hard. Goodness.
Whether you start with your thumb or you start with your pointer finger, it determines, it will speak to where you're from.
Yes. And so if you are westernized, probably more from the United States, Canada, we start with our index, right? If you start with our thumb, for some of y'all who don't want to accept your ancestors, we're going to leave that alone. The Europeans in England, in the UK, they start with their thumb, which is I was over here trying to practice that last night. All like 1, 2, 3. I don't even think that's the Sesame Street way, but I don't know. Someone find out.
Didn't it feel strange though?
It felt really strange. And then, so there are some Asian countries that start with the index finger, but somehow get the palm included in there. And then there's the wild, wild west of folks that start with their pinky. I don't know who out here with their pinky. I don't.
She said wild, wild west. Okay. What are the stats on 1, 2, 3?
No, nobody's doing that. My fingers can't even stretch that way to start with the pinky. But it's an interesting task, right? So I thought that was, and then I found out that it said Indians. Forgive that language because I'm not too sure which part of the world they talking about, because they could be talking about indigenous folks in the United States. But the ones that were here before all the rest of us showed up on a boat, not a plane, but the boat. Okay, anyway.
Indigenous peoples, because we just celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday, because they deserve to be celebrated.
That's right. And I apologize, y'all, because I definitely forgot. I was working, so I forgot it was even a holiday.
I celebrated for you. It's okay. I always cover
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to pause and say, let's take a minute to pause and say that, because I don't know, my great grandfather could potentially be Christopher Columbus, because he did land on my island and caused all kinds of conflicts and shenanigans in this world.
I did not know that you were going to go that direction when she said. I'm sorry, y'all, because see, Kiddada is very good at making a left turn when you know you were on the right side of the street, and she would just that. So you all got to experience what I get to experience all the time. You see how she went way over here? She said might be. Well, you go ahead and claim old Christopher. If he is in my lineage and downline, the only Christopher I recognize is Christopher Wallace. Biggie, can't you see?
Okay. Sometimes the world just hypnotized me. All right, y'all don't know I'm a rapper on the back end, but I do. That's my next career. I'm about to be a 40-year-old rapper, y'all. I'm about to be a 40-year-old rapper. Oh no, 50. I forgot, y'all. I'm about to be 50 next year. So we're gonna end with this. But our wonderful Indian friends actually count in 20 segments on one hand, and I haven't figured how to do that. I was reading. I think they start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just literal segments. Okay.
Yes. So they are taught to. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. How it is that we end up. Yeah, how we end up counting things, but we don't think about how it's regional, how it's part of an international world, something that we take on so simply. And as we're all taught, and next time I'm on Sesame Street, y'all, we're gonna talk about that, because I'm still waiting for my Sesame.
That. I really do like that. It actually reminds me of when I was in the first grade, my school, and I grew up in Georgia in DeKalb County. And there was a young girl in my first grade class. So we're all 5 and 6-year-olds. But she was from Austria. She was an exchange student from Austria. And mind you, I thought it was so curious. This is kind of a sidebar, but it just brought that back in terms of us being in a very international world. And depending on where you pick up in that, we start where we start. But it just reminded me of how culturally, now my classroom looked like the United Nations, or kind of what Gwinnett County looks like now. You had people from, Austria, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from China, from Japan, from Jamaica, from all different countries. And I was grateful for that. But it brings me to the point of when she came into our classroom and she's saying all these black and brown faces and these Caucasian faces that looked a little bit like her, but their hair was a different texture and things like that. What I thought was so curious and was strange for her, she became mute when she first came from Austria into our classroom. And I was tasked with helping her speak again. And it was purely because she was so overwhelmed with coming into a different climate, different foods, completely different people. She didn't speak for the first 2 months of first grade. But as fate would have it, my teacher said, "Oh no, I know Jennifer can get her to talk." And it's a shame.
She knew who to select.
She said, I'm going to partner her right. She's going to sit right next to you. And mind you, I had an attitude about it because I said, wait a minute now, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to teach. And needless to say, she broke out having a conversation with me in the lunchroom because I said, well, what you're not going to do is pantomime what you want to eat. Listen, I got right in her business, and I said, if you want whatever is on this tray, you're gonna have to ask me.
Say it. Yep.
She looked at me like, how about, she said, I'd like that apple, please. Okay.
Thank you. Now, see, you done brought up something that when I relocated to Georgia, my daughter was in first grade, and she refused to speak too.
See?
In Dunwoody, Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I didn't work when I moved to Georgia, because I was sitting here trying to figure out why my child refused to speak. Now, as soon as she saw me, she would talk, but she refused to speak in the class. And I honestly believe it was one reason why is because it's too damn hot. because
When I
we
tell you
relocated. Listen,
temperature changes, food
temperature
changes.
changes.
And this is, even though we're talking about shenanigans, but I think that parents oftentimes don't, especially because we move a lot faster, especially than we did back then.
Yep.
We moved, but we didn't move at the rate, at the pace that we do. And when you're snatching a child, and you're not thinking about it like that you are literally uprooting a child from what they know into some place that's unfamiliar, to expect them not to have a visceral reaction of some sort is not reasonable for a child. Right? You may not have ever experienced it, or even if you did, a lot of times we forget so quickly what it's like to be a little person in a big person's world. And so I reflect back. I've spoken publicly about this before, about that young lady. Hope she's doing well. We didn't stay in contact after elementary school, but it's just such a fond memory of mine to have had the opportunity to kind of be my brother's keeper in that sense. But also to see a teacher that had the wherewithal to say, the only way that this young lady is going to acclimate to this environment is at least if she's around someone who cares enough or is bully enough.
That part. She had not been introduced to a little Black girl from Decatur yet. They didn't put that at customs. They didn't know.
She didn't know it was on her bingo card that year.
She didn't know. But I can tell you, I think Kimani was just shocked at how hot it was in Georgia. And then the elementary school did not have air conditioning.
Oh, God.
At the moment. She was probably just
right now. I'm sorry, we're not even going to bring that up.
We're going to leave it alone. We're going to leave it alone.
Next topic.
So let's move into the political realm, because, I have a true belief that everything is all political. But this one here is just shocking to me. So everyone knows about Coachella, right? And so how that...
Does everybody know?
I don't know, because I don't know. So there's Coachella, and it was some kind of event. Y'all, I really don't know much about Coachella. But I understand this political Coachella. I'm going to call it the political Coachella, if you all are not aware. So former President Trump, we are in rally season, decided to have an event out in the desert of California. I'm unclear why he went to California, but I'm going to leave that alone. So apparently he has some followers in California to the tune of upwards of quote unquote 15,000 people. So when, you know what, we're going to stop. So there was upwards of 15,000 people, and apparently you had to park at a hotel, and then they had some buses that brought people to the rally. Okay. So that's okay. That happens in the political space. But the campaign pays for these buses, y'all, if you all are not aware of the details of the intricacies of how these things work. And so he spoke, had his rally, and he went about his merry way and left. Now, on the back end, the campaign team forgot to run these shuttles back and forth.
I don't believe in forgetfulness, not on political. No, ma'am. Listen.
Well,
it would be different. It would be different if I actually had not organized rallies of 25,000 people or more. When
now, I didn't say anything about political ineptitude. I didn't say that. I just said they forgot. And so,
and I can't let that ride, though. I'm sorry, because forgetfulness is, oops, my bad. Oh, let me come back and get you. That's not what happened. He actually, or his team, let me say not he, his team. Because let's be clear, the candidates rarely of any ilk know exactly what's going on unless they are a real salt of the earth candidate. They don't exist very much in the world, but his team decided to bring these people out there and had zero accountability or plan for shuttling them back to where their origination point was. And that my friends, is not just irresponsible, it's not safe.
It's
Think
not safe.
about if there were 3 people that I think are the supporters, but the 1,500 that you mentioned, that's just,
1,000.
again, I'm the
1,000.
shenanigans expert. I'm just saying, I think it was 3, but 1,500 say it's a free trip. Let's go to the hotel. He's gonna fly. He's flying us in. We're gonna stay at the hotel, and we get to go to Coachella for free.
So Trump Coachella.
Trumpchella.
So it was like they were supposed to have the shuttles running from like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now it's in the desert, and after all these buses and shuttles were taking people to the event, apparently they went from the peak amount of buses down to somewhere to like 3 for 15,000 people. And so the first thing that occurred at the end of the event, so there's only 3 buses, as told by one of the shuttle bus drivers, who will remain anonymous by his own choosing and his own safety. One is that majority of people had to walk. Now, the 2.5 miles plus, because the temperature dropped into the 30s. It's the desert. So if y'all don't know, it gets hot and then it gets cold in the desert. So they weren't expecting that. And then one of the bus drivers, he actually got attacked. So one of the fans of Trump, one of the 3, actually, as he was assisting a woman who, now mind you, they'd been out there for hours, 5 hours plus, to my understanding. They didn't eat, water, none of that stuff. So one woman on his bus actually became sick, and as he was walking back to assist her, someone sucker punched him in the face and took off. So that's the first thing that I just want to say, because it did hit the news slightly, but I do want to say, y'all didn't find any one of those unhappy supporters, because y'all ain't gonna get me to walk 2.5 miles in the cold and think you still get in my boat. I just want to say that. It's not gonna happen in my world.
I'm gonna just say, I don't think that the person on my shirt, who is my governor, I don't think she would have left them to die, be punched in the face, or fend for themselves in a non-watered Coachella environment. I love a good music festival. I have gone the world over I've been to the World's Fair, and I haven't been to Coachella yet. But what I will say, because Atlanta is truly the Mecca when it comes to Atlanta, music festivals. We've got one music fest coming up, and I'm not paid for any of these things. I'm just saying things that I've participated in. And yes, sometimes there is a distance between where you park and where the event is happening. And can you imagine? I've lived in Las Vegas. Forget California. I've lived in the desert, where Death Valley was right here and my house was right here. And what you're talking about, if it goes from 103 degrees to 39 degrees, because once the sun goes behind those mountains, it is painful. Do you hear me? Painful. But you said, ma'am, you said, I don't care how much support or how much I'm voting for you. Leave me in the desert. I'm going to forget the mass media. I'm going to be on every microphone I can find to explain to the masses how raggedy you are.
Raggedy. And let me just say this. I'm gonna have to call it out as I see fit. And the fact that campaign staff left.
Oh, girl. I can't even comment. I will definitely be dragging people if I talked about campaign staff. So I'm going to renounce and denounce
the campaign staff. I just want to say, because no man left behind, but apparently that is not a philosophy of that. But I thought it was pertinent to hear the story about this brother that was punched in the face. He was attacked. And then, because y'all are angry,
I might be terrible for this. And y'all judge me, please. He kind of brought that on himself. And here's why. I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying that you said he was the bus driver, right?
He's the bus driver.
I know you're for Klimp. You are clutching invisible pearls right now. How did he bring it up? If you accepted an assignment from 45, do I need to continue? I'm just saying you accepted. It's just like those who are canvassing for $40 an hour for the campaign. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying $40 is like all the money, but I'm saying it's a lot more than other candidates are spending on canvas staff.
That's true.
If you accept the job,
right?
If you accept the job, I am a firm believer as a manager and business owner. If you accept the job, you accept what comes with the job. That's all I'm saying. I could call me right. Please develop a story and a theme against you. You said I want to take Trump supporters to Coachella. Did you not?
Yeah, I mean, he went through a company.
I'm not saying he said, "Oh, a part of this assignment could involve violence," but there's been allegedly assassination attempts on said candidate. So, with that as the temperature, perhaps I'm too thoughtful to think you brought that on yourself.
Hear you.
People are shooting at your proposed candidate. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So where I kind of understand, I'm not at 100% because I understand that people need jobs and he's providing a service. And so I truly believe just because someone's providing a service, they do not deserve maltreatment. And just there's a level of political violence.
That is very good of you. If I ever work for you, I'm going to come back to this clip just to make sure that I have complete coverage.
Yes, please do.
because on the job injuries can be a thing.
Yeah, true. But I'm sure because he was contracted by the bus company and then he just got hired, and I'm sure the foolishness. But you did bring up another story that's affiliated with Trump Coachella. And so there was a man that was arrested outside of the Coachella event because he had a weapon on him. And so he was arrested because he had a gun on him, right? And so there was a what's the word I'm looking for? A news report that said the sheriff was all hyped up, right? Because yes, we caught the next shooter. Yes, and we prevented this assassination attempt against the former president. Now, I just want to pause and say to everyone who may not be aware, in the past, the former president was never a fan of telling people not to bring their weapons. I just want to say that. He's very clear about the fan that he loves of guns, and the fan listen, it's free speech, it's free whatever, just go ahead and bring your guns, until the alleged assassination attempt in Pennsylvania a couple months back. And so, the world went, oh, someone else tried to, oh, they caught that person. Oh, and then what they weren't expecting was the following day after Soul Man was arrested, he got a lawyer and is now suing the sheriff because he said, wait a minute, I'm just a Trump supporter. I have canvassed for Trump. And just because I had a weapon on me does not mean that I was trying to kill that man. I just had my weapon on me, as I have the right to do. So he never entered into the event space. So that tells me, once again, the security wasn't good anyway, but that's a whole other conversation. So now he's saying that the sheriff did this to make a name for himself. Miss Jennifer?
I am... Opportunists are everywhere.
True.
And to the point of this sheriff taking advantage of, and it's so bizarre. It just let's keep with the weirdo, bizarro, cultist. I don't know that I've ever in the history of my voting life, forget being a political operative in any way, but I I don't know that I understand the value, because I'm a value oriented sister. I don't understand the value in if your 15 minutes or seconds of fame is attached to something so violent or violent adjacent. Like, you know how I feel about do no harm in every capacity. I don't believe that we're going to live in any type of Pollyanna.
She just said that brother might have walked into that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Go ahead.
I'm saying I have so much compassion, but I do have a hard line that comes with, how do you make sense of saying, I saved a potential assassination attempt? How do you come to that conclusion when, and then the other dude that's like, I canvassed for you, I can bring my gun. I'm saying, if this is the Calvary of support for this particular candidate, and I am a firm believer, you can vote for who you want to. It's your right. It's your inalienable right.
Yep.
I'm not saying that I would do it, but you can vote for who you want to. To have that level of, maybe I don't have the audacity I should. You know what I'm saying? Because when I say to you, the audacity, saying, you know what, we're in it now. If the camera is rolling, this is how I feel, and I'm about to say all the things. What? Do you realize that the internet is forever? You can die tonight, but guess what? You will be known forever as that viral moment, whatever it is that you were just like, oh yes, gung-ho, ready for it. What are we doing?
Some people just want to be famous. I will give, I think his name is Vern Miller, and I'm going to shout out to Vern Miller before having the wherewithal to say, no, don't drag my name in the mud like this foolishness. How dare you take away my constitutional rights of having the right to bear arms and mind my business over here? Because once again, he did not enter into the space. I don't know why he was all the way out there anyway, but whatever. He's a supporter. Maybe he was having a Taylor Swift moment, and I'm just going to hear from the outside, because a lot of people do that. They just come and sit and they just listen.
Just the periphery. You're right. The perimeter. So that, again, I can just be adjacent to it, but not participate. But how do you? Okay. But I feel like you're arguing both sides, not you, but the gentleman. You decided to come out here with your gun because it's acceptable, and now you want to sue? Wait, brother.
Well, he's saying he's suing because not only do they say he had an illegal possession of a shotgun, a loaded handgun, and a high capacity magazine. Apparently, he brought the whole arsenal. Allegedly,
he was just playing. He just wanted to hang out.
And he even had 2 firearms in his vehicle, allegedly, right? But here's the thing. We know that there's people who ride like this. I don't know why, but they do. And so he's upset because he's saying that the sheriff wanted to defame him and created this false narrative, right, about this incident. And it might be true and it might be false. And we're going to see how that washes off into the political waterfall that is the Trump campaign. And so we're just going to see. We're going to see.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi, Zora.
How far into Bizarro are we to accept in the massive space, in our common space? I ask that question because you know me. You know me directly. You know me personally and professionally. But I say this, that I wonder how far America, because America, at least today, is still holding on to that thread of being the world leader. And I say thread, and it's a very shaky thread. I mean, the thing is frayed. I don't know if it's still on the spool or not.
It's been spiraling as we speak.
But I bring that up to say, how far is there anything too far? Hi, Zora. Hey, pretty girl. She's such a pretty girl. But how far is there a too far? And I feel like even with a certain candidate being on the mass media circuit the past 2 weeks, I wonder how, do we have any parameters anymore? Because with, again, everybody's a studio. Even what we're doing right now, we would have never been able to, at 7 a.m. on any day that we went to school, any day that we came through college, any day that, in our early 20s and 30s, would have been able to, or emerging at that time, have a direct conversation with an audience. I just think there's a certain danger or lack of what does this road look like in terms of everybody being able to say whatever they want to say. Free speech, certainly support that. And then the consequences of said ability, right? If there are never consequences, and I say never consequences, meaning we don't hold accountable. Okay, you may feel that way, but we don't live in a world that makes that acceptable, whatever that behavior is, whatever that opinion is. We can all have our opinions, but we still used to be a country that was governed by some law. And I feel like the rule of law is so jacked up, like I can't even give a professional word. The rule of law is so haphazard now. Where do we actually see ourselves in the next after November 5th, as an example? I agree with you that you shouldn't let this be all consuming, but I think that there is enough pause that we should take to say, what do we what is your vote actually saying? Not even just your vote, but what is your behavior collectively saying? What is acceptable in common spaces? What is safe in common spaces? And what is not? And who gets to say what that is? Because if we don't trust the police and we don't trust each other, what do we have? That's anarchy.
Whew. Well, we're not going to speak the A word, but I will say that we do have a great shift in the lack of civility in the United States, whether it's because of social media or the ability just to hide behind the internet and just say whatever we want because people can't touch us, see us, or whatever, right? And so, but I want to say this lawlessness is not only political, right? And so, and we, as we meander through this life that we only get once, sometimes the lawlessness comes in ways that are replicated, and I'm seeing the replication over and over and over again, right? So I'm going to end our conversation with the topic of P. Diddy Combs.
Well, I mean, why not?
Why not, right? So Yoruba, hold on, because we have to have some conversations. There's not enough. So if you are into the interwebs, the interworlds, Cat Williams internet, if you don't know that P. Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, whatever he calling himself right now, jailbird, inmate number 9256281. Current. Right. He has been arrested on, I want to start with just an assault charge, a rape charge. He's got civil lawsuits that are out here. It's a wild ride. Okay. And so if you are or not following Diddy's, there are so many articles that are coming out every day. But the one that caught my attention is about, and I'm going to say this from a space of power, because power can corrupt, and we see that all the time, right? And so I just want to say that power is sometimes power is snatched. Like we see coups, right? We see political coups, but we also give people power, and people will deny this, but we give people power. And especially in our world, we feel like if you are wealthy, you are to have power. But there are consequences to giving people power when you don't know who they truly are as individuals, and or you see who they are, and yet you decide to turn a blind eye to it because they're powerful and they're wealthy. And I think that is what has occurred with Diddy, even though Diddy was trifling back in college at Howard University. Anyway, he was abusive in college, and they knew it.
Mention them? I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I had to, because you know what? This is going to be a show about how colleges and universities
are complicit,
are real complicit in violence and all kinds of stuff, right? So Diddy, one of my favorite stores, Macy's. And if y'all have never been to the New York City Macy's, the flagship Macy's, and go to the shoe department, because I have a shoe thing. So apparently he orally raped an employee in one of the back storage rooms at Macy's, and Macy's got rid of that report. So it can't come forward in court. And so I just wanted to kind of ask you, what is your high level topic thought on Diddy at the moment and what's going on? Because like I said, there's so many stories that are popping up every day. And let me just layer this on as well. There's also an accusation that he raped a 9-year-old child. And that 9-year-old child was turned over by social workers to him.
Turned over meaning?
Handed over to him to have a sexual relationship with.
Gotcha.
Him.
I just wanted you to, for the audience, to be specifically clear about that. Yeah. It's interesting you use the term "my high level thoughts" because I don't have any high level thoughts about this at all. Just to set the tone, I am a staunch advocate for women and children's safety, not excluding men, but that is my lot in life, to be a protector and an advocate and a supporter of anyone who is victimized, be it through sexual assault, rape, or otherwise. And I don't take lightly I don't care whether you are a celebrity, a politician, average Joe or Jill. And as it pertains to Diddy, I'm not judgmental about the reality that he's facing. And I say I'm not judgmental because he is just a dude. I don't care what his vocation is, as far as I'm concerned, especially in working in the entertainment business and politics. You are unfortunately familiar with the atmosphere that allows a Diddy to exist. So I'll say this. He is one of thousands of men, not just Black men. I'm very specific and clear. He is one of thousands of men in and out of our families and community.
Yes.
And he is but one who had a major platform, and he is absolutely being held to an account that few who are, as I'm speaking, will ever be held to account.
Right.
And that's where I'll leave it.
Thank you for that. And I just want to say in that vein, please don't come for me. Don't come on here to talk about y'all are male bashing, because facts are facts. And I will say this: if you know that you've got family members who have raped, molested the little girls, the aunties, the mommies, the grandmas, and
The
you have
uncles, the
stayed,
brothers.
the uncles, the brothers, right? And you have stayed quiet. You are complicit, and
Complicit.
you need to go on somebody's couch, because blood is not thicker than water when it comes to breaking a child's spirit or an adult spirit. Because I know people that have been molested as adult women, right? And so all because it's family. Because how many times, because listen, Thanksgiving is coming, and if you're in your family, you all still have that conversation about, don't go over there with that uncle in the corner. Don't sit on your uncle's lap or your grandfather's lap. There is something wrong with that. I just need to say that. I need to get, oh, Lord Jesus.
No, and don't, let's not, I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but that is probably one of the most important things that I think you could have ever shared in your podcast about the holidays coming, and families just truly be kind to yourself, be aware for your children, and do not think just because it's always been done this way.
Right.
That
part.
You have to be a supporter and continue to let any type of generational danger and lack of safety continue. If you know better, you do better. And I cannot stress that is across the board on every topic that we have. I hope some wigs were snatched on this one. I hope some hairlines are betrothed. I hope that some people feel some type of way.
Some type of way, because I'm gonna look at the calendar right now, because obviously I'm gonna have to bring this topic back up again before Thanksgiving, because this idea of, oh, it's just Uncle so-and-so, y'all grimy, he grimy, and then I just want to say, oh wait, Yoruba done spoke up. Hold on.
Right. I think we have touched.
Wait. Yoruba,
and address it. Address it.
My producer just said a girl in 6th grade was raped in her school nearby by the guard, and the entire school was trying to cover it up. Silence is a big thing. It is. And it's ridiculous. And you know what, Yoruba, you make a point about the silence, because I'm going to come back to Diddy, because there are thousands of people who knew what Diddy was about, who he was, and because he was famous and he had power and they wanted something, because sometimes power, we can share power, we can give you a sense of false power. And so we want to be famous too. So we might just ignore a lot of behaviors, even though we know it is harmful to somebody else. And at some point in time, we have got to choose humanity over money every day of the week.
That's a show. Can humanity over money? Can that be a show?
Take notes. Humanity over money. And so thank you for that, Yoruba, because this is something that occurs all across the world, that women, men are harmed in ways that we don't speak about. And we need to have those discussions. And so with the shenanigans of the shenanigans, there was actually another story that I was looking for, but God just snatched it from my brain because I think it's way too much. Just snatch.
He can do that. She can do that.
He can. And so I want to give you the last word, Miss Shenanigans expert, on anything, any topic that you would like to discuss as we are rounding out.
Well, first and foremost, I do want to say thank you. I live in a state of gratitude at all times, no matter what difficult topics. I don't think you can be a shenanigans expert without being able to handle the funny as well as the flawed. And we are all flawed in ways that we need not just therapy, but we need help in sometimes being able to articulate the things that are hard, the things that have been trying, the things that have been hurtful. And again, if you live long enough to be courageous, and you're courageous every day you wake up. Believe it or not, that's a new set of courage every day. And God knows I am the most courageous woman in the world, in that I support my sister at 7 a.m. on Thursdays. Because when I say to you, I am not a morning person, and she talking about she washed her face. I put on lip gloss. Ma'am, I washed my face, put on lip, and pulled my little locks right back to the back of my head, turned on my TV, which my TV has given them. My TV said, it's time to go.
It's time to go.
Okay, but the sun is up, the ceiling fan is on, and my final words are just, be grateful, but be bold. Please don't let your gratitude be a swap for being bold to speak out on those things that keep us all bound. And I just hope and pray that we all continue to, Yoruba, you just got me. The silence is a big thing. I'm going to be on that for the rest of the week.
That's going to stick with us. That's really going to stick with us. And so thank you, Jennifer Simmons, our shenanigans expert this morning with us. And y'all, in closing, I want to say a few things. So yesterday we started voting in Georgia. Over 425,000 plus people came out to vote. So 'tis the season of early vote. Today in North Carolina, they are going to begin voting. I'm going to just say, I don't know how well that's going to go, and not well in the space of turnout, but we have so many counties in North Carolina that don't have power, that don't have access to food, water, or anything like that. So I don't know what the measures are that are going to be taken to ensure that those people have the ability to vote as they should in the midst of their trauma, because I promise you, this is trauma with them losing their homes and so many people that are still missing in North Carolina. And so I just want to say, take the opportunity to vote, be civil, because lines will be long. Lines will be long. Your ability to vote has nothing to do with you being disrespectful. I just want to say that again. You can vote without being disrespectful. We are all here to achieve the same goal, which is we are fighting for a democracy, no matter what it is that it looks like on your end, because we are not all in agreement. Okay. And in the vein of shenanigans, I'm going to say stay warm, because y'all talked about me last year. Buy y'all some cashmere socks, because they will change your life.
Don't let her bully y'all. She keeps her house on 194 degrees. It's okay. It's a Caribbean thing, but I'm just saying it's 194 degrees in there. And I'm a sizable woman. Nobody should be but she made sure I had a turbo fan in my room when I was there. She did not leave me to my own devices. But girl,
let's go buy some cashmere socks. Buy cashmere socks, buy cashmere sweaters. In that way, guess what? You will have a different level of warmth that you didn't even know year round. I'm just telling you.
Jermaine Dupree. Okay, we gonna all have our cashmere socks. And you want me to be out here like little Lord Fauntleroy? I'm gone. Okay, I'm gone.
First of all, we're not going to talk about the cricket. Anywho, but we're going to leave that alone. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Jennifer, the shenanigans expert, thank you till we meet again and we have more shenanigans. But just know that what's happening in the news, it can impact you. Just know, take it with a degree of measure when what you're bringing into your body and into your brain and what it is that you're consuming. Focus on your family, focus on your health, focus on your wealth, and be happy. You all, in closing, this is Kiddada Asmara Grey with Life Coaching Today Presents. You all have an amazing Thursday. Bye, y'all. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Grey and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.